And when our speaker today came to me last month and said, I want to do a talk on angelic love. On a love story. I thought, wow, how about Valentine's Day? And then he said, well, I need to do it a little before. So today, I'm really excited. When I first met this man and he first came to the Adams Center, he was a very unique soul, and very, very unique soul, Christine. No, he was very kind of kept to himself, didn't talk too much, just kind of observed. And then I got to know him a little bit. What a cool man. And so many things in his life have led him to a spiritual path. So today, if you could, you guys know how people like to be welcomed up. We give them a nice applause, and we get to hear from Jan Sande about angelic love. So
all right. This is going to be some facts and some stories. Awesome. Just concentrate on that word for a little while.
Could you move
you see that word?
Oh, let's move that podium. Okay, thanks, Lisa.
He has stuff on it.
Oh, well, we can just, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you.
While you're concentrating on that, start with age 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, and move forward. I'll tell you about this stool. 3 months ago, because of this talk, I decided I need a stool. Because all ship captains have to have one. It's just part of the role. You got to see it. Important. Very important. Look important. Maybe not be important. Within 2 hours, I had a stool. So what we can manifest things, and as we move higher up in our vibrational realm, it works better. So I can hope. This came from a dumpster. So, anyway, it manifested itself, and it's very important. So, you had time to think about that word for a moment or two?
I was thinking about stools.
You're thinking about stools. Now, here's another word, this one on top. Think about that for a moment. Because all of us have experienced that. First time. Mind if I mention a little bit of things about the signing of the Declaration of Independence?
We're in it now.
My father was a Mason. And keep concentrating on that. My grandfather was a Mason. My father-in-law was a Mason. And many of my shipmates were. And Masons are not supposed to promote, but generally ask if a person thinks about joining the group. I said no. Just, what was this? What's the thing called? The whole Life Festival. Mm-hmm. Christine was getting some information, and she looked at me and she says, I see a Masonic ring. And I said, oh shit, not a Masonic ring. She says, yeah, that's what it is. She described it. And I said, well, who's my father? And he says, you're doing the right thing. He passed 20 years ago. Anyway, getting back to the Declaration of Independence, and it has to do with all of our planets. We have to go back 100,000 years. I won't describe too much back then, but in the Sumerian text and all the information that was back that time, there were people who were called priests, and they had their scribes. Well, those people kept track of all of the records, and those people knew every planet that we had, plus a whole lot more in the universe and Nibiru. They evolved into what today are called the Masons, the keepers of the truth. So when the Declaration was signed, they knew all this. And all but one of the signatories on the Declaration of Independence were Masons. Only one wasn't. So they knew what they were doing when that was developed for that moment in time. Those people also have established our school system, our court system, and every other system where we grew up with. When we get into a little bit further, we're going to get into this book and a graph. And more of this will be explained. But it started from the beginning, and it's going on for this entire cycle of 26,000 years. What we know about. Now we're moving into this. Oh, now it's your turn.
I was just thinking about that. Okay, so you didn't tell me about this. This is a very important fact. Okay, well, that's my, isn't that coincidence? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask everybody to take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I'm just calling in divine, angelic energy. And as I speak my word, I absolutely know that this time, right here, right now, is blessed. And the words are spoken are true. And all the angels, guides, and God, and Jesus are all here. And thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my hands are busy.
Now here we're getting a little bit silly.
Oh, well, you need to put your hat back on.
We have all kinds of measuring devices that we use all the time. We have a tape measure, we have a measured mile, a speedometer, a thermometer, a clock, a weight scale, air pressure gauge, and on the very bottom we have probably the most important one, kinesiology. We can measure anything in the past, and now, in the future, because it's all one. This, by the way, represents everybody on this planet. That one later. And this is taken from this book.
What's in there? Power versus force.
And the author is David Hawkins. He's an MD and a PhD. And he went through and worked all this out. So the intent is to show to you how important each one of you is from where our planet is today. And it can be done with kinesiology and phonograph. all of you are so very important, as well as all the other groups and individuals throughout the world. Stuck a little bit. Anyway, the scale goes to 1,000 from 0. It's logarithmic. So the distance between here and here is not 500 points. And I don't have a scientific calculator anymore, so anyway, you can just see. But it's a lot. We'll start with the bottom, but being that this represents all of us in the world. I probably have to go on the left. And that's like that. There.
You're just cracking me up. That's okay. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're doing fine. Huh?
All right. The way this works is up on top, you have Jesus and Buddha and Krishna. Their energy counterbalance all of this. 85% of the people. That's why those people were so important. They counterbalance the negative aspect of 85% of people on the planet.
Well, where's Muhammad in this?
We'll get to that. So, this is the 200 level. And 85% of these people vibrate below 200. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. One individual at a time. If they were here all together at the same time, this is what we'd have. So, at 200 level and below, or 199 and below, people put nothing back into the system. Nothing. They take. When we start getting above this 200 level, we start giving something in return for our life. So you can just think, what's the world been doing in all of our lives that we can remember here? We don't remember World War I, but it's talked about. All of these wars going on. And who were the foot soldiers? Most of them, even going back into Alexander the Great's time and the other greats. Those foot soldiers were down here. All of them. 40 or 50,000 people could leave the planet in one battle in one day. Well, we're growing out of that now because of this angelic love. But
you might say those words out loud so people in the back can see what they are or hear what they are.
Well, at 200 level, the headline is courage. Everything below that is no courage. And it's a place of anger down in the train. That's the main theme of those people's anger. So, at the 300 level, approximately, well, at 200 level, I guess I didn't go up above that. Willingness to try new things, people put back energy as much as they take out, and this is where productivity begins. So these people are becoming productive in our societies. And you probably know an awful lot of those people. People shopping and so on. At 3:10, a great opening occurs. In this range, people are chosen for advancement because they're giving more back to disclosure. Jobs are done well in that range. They are a contribution to society. Okay, 400 is reason. And in this range from here to here, science and medicine. So when we get to the 400, people are going to our universities. They're going to specific trade schools. They're learning high skills. And that's good. We need doctors and we need lawyers and we need all of these people. They're putting a lot into our society. Somewhere I have it written. We take the great leaders of our world, such as Einstein. Einstein vibrated at 499. It's important, but this 500 level of love is very critical. So all of these people that we can think of today that are the CEOs of big companies, our doctors, and all these scientists and so forth, for the most part, have not reached 500. Academics, they're academics. That's good, but again, this is very important. So Einstein did not reach the level of 500. Okay. At 500, it's very important because that is where, excuse me, that's where our unconditional love comes. At 500. I want to taste my coffee.
Well, imagine that.
You use it for coffee?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You should have checked with me.
I'm done.
I know.
Thank goodness I have.
That's right.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
There you go. Well, at 540, we reach this joy. And people are there get into self-help groups, you know, develop more in our heart. And above that, according to our author, is where saints and healers come from. So I'm sure there's a lot of healers in this group. So that's where we start to vibrate at 540. Those of us who are dealing with. Okay. Another important one is the 600 level. And this is interesting according to this author. Okay? People who have NDEs ascend to 600 plus who already are over 540.
Explain.
Sorry, what?
Near-death experience.
Near-death experience.
Oh,
People who vibrate over 540 already from their what? Anyway,
Life experiences.
life experiences. They have an NDE. They automatically jump over 600. And in my shamanic studies, A shaman in the culture, if a youngster had a near-death experience, fell in the river and drowned, so forth, was brought back, the shaman immediately took charge of that individual to teach him to follow in his place, knowing that he was already over the 600 level and had a lot less work to go to get to be a master shaman, master whatever aspect of shaman he was going to do. So I've had 3 of these.
Wow.
I don't recommend it to anybody. Mine it wasn't an automotive. I don't recommend anything like that. So I didn't have broken bones and other things to heal in the process. So it made a big change in my life. Having those tremendously big change. This lady here is nodding and understand. It brings us to a new level. Yeah, it sure does. Okay. At the 600 point, we are starting in the process of illumination. That's where it starts, 600. These guys are real hard. Thank goodness we have them, or have them. So we're reaching forward to this God consciousness. It only happens to one in 10 million. Oh, I left my reading glasses home. This happens to 1 in 10 million people. Thank you. Okay, 700 to 1,000. You know, it was enlightenment. We have a couple of other people who were very, very famous. There was Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa. Those are the 2 we read about. They were over here. Over 700. So, those people, each one of these held up the entire peoples under 200, their negativity. Gandhi and Mother Teresa handled 70 million each. Now, you see, do I have more of this in them? I think I do. Anyway, at this particular time, according to our author, again, that represents Gandhi, or no, Jesus. This represents the people over 600. That's just a small amount of people. Okay, these are the 15% of all of this total from here up. So a few of us, all of you in this room are in this bag.
They're pretty small.
Pretty impressive for one, yeah. Collectively speaking, everyone in this room collectively vibrates over 600. So you're in this little bag. And you're holding up. This 15% is included in this. But anyway, use that hand at the hand and my rice and start throwing at her. The book was written in 1995, and this figure was 85%. We did some kinesiology, and we took 5% out and put it over there. So we have gained on this little 200 in 20 years. Part of it is because the the harmonic convergence has raised our frequency, and that's later on here as well. But part of it is because a lot of the people that were here, say my father's generation, grandfather's generation, and those others, have left. So it's happening on both ends. And by the end of the century, if nothing else changes, this will all be over here. So, okay, these are interesting numbers.
We can't see anything.
You can't see either?
No, because we can't see through you.
We can over here.
Come over here and sit through.
There's a few of us over here behind you.
Well, I'm trying to figure this out. Yes, later. Okay. This religion vibrated at 1,000. I'm going to slip Krishna.
Right, Krishna.
Okay. And Buddhism was also at 1,000. And Christianity also was at 1,000. Today, you can see where they vibrate.
They've gone down.
But those numbers are still quite good.
Yeah, not significantly.
And so is this one.
Still a little over 600.
Take a good look at those numbers. Can you see it?
Could you read the names beside the numbers because I can't read them?
Well, I'm not sure. Hinayana, Buddhism, is that right?
He can't read his own writing.
No, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a different sect of Buddhism. There are three.
Hinayana?
Zen Buddhist, Mahayana Buddhist, Hinayana Buddhism. Are you familiar with those? Yeah? I'm not. Anyway, they're vibrating at a lower level than this, but not very much. And the whole keep saying what's good. Still practice. Okay, look at Christianity. Can everybody see those numbers?
You need to say them out loud. Let's read them out loud.
By the 2nd century, it was 930. By the 6th century, it was 540. The Crusades, 498. And the book was written, 495. That book, 495. The New Testament was 750. And the King James Bible was 640. So comparing the Eastern religions, are still vibrating at close to 900. They started out at 1,000. Christianity, 495. But that tells me there's no love in Christianity.
Doesn't surprise me that the church is using the book as a hammer.
But are you judging the church or are you judging individuals?
No. The church, not the individual. There are many good individuals.
That's what I...
Absolutely. No. This is, and these figures came from the author. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be.
Yes.
I can't figure it out. Yeah, for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something else here. Where did I fit those?
Are they the ones right behind the parrot? You're welcome.
Oh, it's confusing the best here. Okay. I have a job for you, Christine.
Oh, imagine that. What now?
You can read these. These were taken, I just flipped up a whole bunch of questions. And we did it with kinesiology. Individuals didn't know the questions. So go ahead.
Do you want me to read the whole thing all at once? Everything or just one line by one line? You can see we really worked hard at preparing for this. What am I supposed to do with this?
You're supposed to read it.
Are there 10% of the people on the earth now vibrating over 200 on the 1,000-point scale?
Okay. The answer to that question is yes.
So is that a 2 or is that a 1?
It's a 10.
It's a 10, okay.
Could you read it again, please?
Are there 10% of the people on earth now vibrating over 200% of the 1,000 scale? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So they're vibrating over the 200 scale, okay.
Aren't you supposed to hold it up to your forehead?
Yeah,
Do the Essenes, does everybody know who the
In
Essenes are?
case you care, you're off camera now. You don't know closer. Oh, you were fine right up against it.
I see me now.
Yeah.
Did the Essenes of the Bible vibrate over 500 on the same scale of 1 to 1,000?
Yes.
Yes. So does everybody know who the Essenes are? So tell them who the Essenes are.
You do.
Well, they hung out with Jesus and they were real cool. How's that?
Yeah. Perfect.
Forerunner of the Coptics.
The forerunner of the what?
Coptics.
Coptics.
Does everyone know what?
To Judaism, they were considered a sect.
Okay.
They were existed before and after Jesus, and had to segregate themselves. There's going Judaic history. There's lots about the Essenes.
They were considered ancient monks too.
Say that again.
They were considered ancient monks too.
Ancient
Monks.
monks. Ancient monks. Okay. The orgasmic effect which I felt from the angel hug was that 100 times or more than what we feel as human orgasm.
Is that similar to a tantric touch person?
Okay.
Is that similar to a tantric, like almost as if God touches you?
I would say so.
Are you done with me now?
No.
Oh,
One more question.
oh boy. 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes.
No.
Okay. Do the people in the Atom Center here today collectively vibrate over 600? Yes. Are Lucifer and the fallen angels from Nibiru and here on earth? Do the Christian churches in America vibrate at over 500 today? No.
Not as a whole.
Not as a whole. Did Jesus physically die on the cross?
No.
Sorry.
No.
No.
Maybe it's moving to a story.
Believe it?
This one is right here. Are there at least 36 persons on earth today who vibrate at 700 or more?
Yes. Okay. You don't have to rush.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to get into some of this.
Can you back up just 2 seconds? At the top of that chart, it says one individual at 700 counterbalances how many?
70 million.
70 million.
Below 200.
Okay.
One individual at 600 counterbalances 10 million.
Talk about carrying the weight.
Carrying the weight.
So that, again, is how important each of you here are. Collectively, you're over 600, so when there are 30 people in here, it's what? A lot of people. Anybody else?
No.
No, I don't think you have to rush. I really don't. Just carry on.
Just carry on?
Just carry on and relax. Yeah.
Oh, relax. Want to look at that one more moment?
I think what Todd's saying is go ahead and cover the material.
All right. Now we're going to talk about me.
Oh, boy.
Just getting back to that second one there about no love. All of us have experienced that. 1939. Hitler moved into Poland. Great year. Well, being that I was born then, and I was in southeast Alaska, didn't get into any of the war zone like the unfortunate people in Europe did. But you can still feel it. I seen all of this energy was all over the world. And yes, I felt it. Oh. And all of us did that were there at the time. So yes, there's a lot of anger into it. And then I went to merchant school, flight school, worked for the government. 15 years later, I was 35 years old. A book was given to me, Shirley MacLaine's book, Out on the Limb. That opened up my eyes. I thought, wow, something's happening. And when I was younger, I had psychic abilities, so I didn't know what they were. And redneck catch can, of course, where did a person go find out?
The Shamrock Bar.
If you're fortunate, not the loony bin.
Oh, we had two choices in Ketchikan, the bar or the church. Nothing in between.
And they had lots of both.
Oh.
Lots of both.
So anyway, yeah, that changed my way. I started doing a lot of reading. Lots of books. Some of them made sense, some of them didn't. And then in my late 30s, I had those 3 MBEs. And, of course, that really opened me up, but I didn't know what the heck was going on. Still didn't know what was going on. It was mind-boggling. No more books. Yes.
What caused the injuries?
What caused it? Plunk. It's down.
So spontaneous?
Yeah. No automobile accident, no airplane accident, nothing of these things. It just plunk. I was down.
So you could say you were dying to improve?
No, you were in this room.
While I was taking my private pilot's training and so forth, I don't know, maybe I had MDEs at that time too, but the Angels landed the airplane on 3 different occasions. It was at that time I walked back from the ship because I was working for the government at the time. And I collapsed again and ended up in the hospital. So it all has purpose. It got me here today. So it all fits in. But, I guess the angels figured I had something more important to say or do than flying an airplane. So that was the last time I was doing that. Thank you, angels. So what happened after that? When I was 45, I had a weekend workshop. Happened to be a very good friend and a shipmate in Juneau. And the only thing I remember of that workshop is at the end of it, she said, like everything that we are experiencing today, with our weather, the earthquake activity, everything going on, would happen. And that was back in 1985. She said that all these things would happen. They are happening today. You would read about it in the paper. Fukushima, earthquake, all that disaster over there, tidal wave. All of this. Europe is now having crop failures. Australia is having crop failure. New Zealand. We're next.
The world's having a money failure.
Yeah, money failure. All these failures. Well, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. But anyway, in 1985, I was told that it was going to happen. Now, this date right here, August of 1987, the harmonic convergence. I don't know how many people were sitting in their favorite meditative places on mountaintops, wherever it would be. You remember that? But again, by coincidence, or synchronicity, or whatever if you want to label this, I happen to be sitting on top of a mountain with my chief mate in Skagway. I looked over at George and I said, "You feel some good warm energy coming?" George says, "Yeah, it feels good, huh?" "Yeah, it feels really good." Well, at the same time, I was taking past life regression work in Seattle. I did twice a month per year. When I went in there the very first time, I thought, "Oh, this would be fun." Wrong. Wrong answer. Oh, crap, what am I getting into? Anyway, I kept it up for a year. And so I didn't know what the harmonic convergence was, so I mentioned it to the lady, and she laughed, and she brought me out the brochure and everything else. I think that within the next 100 years, we look back at that date in August 1987. That's probably going to be the most important date that we know about, because it set the stage for our youth. And Jose Arguelles was the individual. It's time to go.
No, I said that sound was like the angelic.
Oh, I asked him to come.
I got the impression to silence it, and it wasn't quick enough.
So,
Harmonic convergence.
Jose. He passed now at age 70 a few years ago. But anyway, I listened to him speak one time, and what a kind of wonderful gentleman he was. Anyway, he was the one who initiated all people to go to their favorite meditation places, mostly mountains, so on. I don't remember the number of people it took, but I think it was 1% of the world's population needed to be out there on those 2 days to do that. And I felt it. Which didn't know what it was at the time, but it felt warm and fuzzy. I like warm and fuzzy. So, there's the most fun part. I was 47 again. That was that same year. I was asked for traveling, and I ran into an angel.
No.
It was super cool. Super cool. When we say we the God source or angel source or whatever, yes, it's one of the most wonderful experiences ever. It was at least 100-fold of anything orgasmic we can think of in its third-dimensional life. At least 100-fold. And it totally blew me away. And it was so amazing that when I was back in my body again, I really thought, do I really want to be here? Do I want to put up with this pain of being in this silly body? And I had tremendous back troubles at that time anyway, and all this other stuff, but well, here I am. So yeah, it was truly an experience. So age 53, I did some more of the Dora stuff, and then there's some important. This gets a little more personal. That's okay. It's time to say it. That person's name is my son. And he left. He was born here.
Say it out loud, people can't read it.
7 July 1975. And he left on 2 November 1994. This date and that time and this time are important because we feel things in our gut, right? Well, being on the ship, I feel something and I run around and look for the problem. And I usually found the problem. It was something that was about to break or whatever. At this particular time, it was like someone grabbed a hold of my innards with a hay hook and was pulling. And I searched that ship or whatever. From 4:21 until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And couldn't find anything wrong. You know, his mother called me and said he was lost on the mountain. So he come up here. He was up in Hatchet Pass. So at 4:21 in the afternoon on the 2nd of November, it's when I felt him leave. He was telling me, you know, in trouble. Toward the end of the search, 3 days later, exactly 3 days later, the trooper sergeant asked me if I wanted to fly around and show me where they were searched, because they had given up. And I asked them to fly a specific course coming back to the lodge, and they did. And I told them to go slow and to stop when I hollered stop. Myself and 2 other psychics had pinpointed him within 100 feet. And the self-proclaimed avalanche expert would not let my crew, all of Sean's buddies, in there to get it. Anyway, it worked out the way it worked out. And I hollered stop, and I told the trooper, and I said, you'll find him directly underneath us in the spring. Exactly to the minute, 3 days later. So after that, there's a note. It says, on the airplane to catch can. Thank goodness for notes. We got a flight out of Anchorage, and we ended up right in the back of the airplane. And we're sitting there resting because we're tired. Stressed and tired. And I opened up my eyes, and Sean's standing right there in the middle of the aisle. And I said, well, hello, Sean. He says, what's going on? And he says, well, you're going to become a healer. And I said, well, we have a lot of work to do. And he said, no, you do. I've done my part. Just call if you need me. Well, he communicated with me a lot over the years. He really did. And telling me what to do So we're building my house down on Philippine Cove was one of them. He says, get the damn thing built before you're 65. And I was busy doing things, and I can do this in 5 years. No, in fact, by that particular time when I was 65 years old, the house was 95% complete, but it wasn't complete. Oh, I had to get it, of course.
Most people think having their kid telling them what to do is a bad thing.
Pay attention to kids. So anyway, the house is built, you know, a number of things. They told me to go to school, Native American sweat lodges, another week of healing work. Well, Trevor, my other son, Trevor, and Julie were married. Julie was one of Sean's girlfriends. He had many. He was one of these people who loved, you know. So anyway, when they get married, and then a little bit of reading, talking about how Sean brought them together. And I'm looking at Sean up here, you know, Sean's up there. Sean comes down, gets Julie, brings her up, and as soon as that passage was through, he brings her down. So he kept busy, taking care of things. Then I added 2 years of Bubberman energy healing, and he again was in those classes. It was a class of about 20 people. And he was continually helping somebody all the time. And those individuals would say, okay, there's a so-and-so here, he's helping me, and things like this. Well, when I come home, I finally got a picture of him, took it back and said, yeah, that's what it is. He's here helping. So he's helped me a lot. Then I had shamanic work with Sande Ingerman. You know, building the Token Cove house. The interesting thing about my house in Token Cove is 400 feet away is an energy vortex. And it's quite exciting. Sometimes it looks like it's Roman candles going on. Other times it's just a big glow. It's just a wonderful place to be. And there's Sean spoken on many occasions. Here's kind of an interesting one here. So anyway, the energy, getting to this angelic energy, the harmonic convergence, which came second. Sean came second. So Sean came second. And this lady is in the physical form. Oh,
You should read that out loud because I can't see it back there.
all I'm thinking. Anyway, all of these energies, starting with the harmonic convergence and the angelic love, and Sean. Okay, those three. The feeling was the same. It was warm and fuzzy, right? You know what warm and fuzzy is. It was warm and fuzzy. Intensity different because the angelic hug was mind-boggling. Okay. Still at that time, I didn't know what the heck was going on. I didn't know if that feeling could be handled between two individuals here in the third dimensional world. Didn't know that yet. John told me I would meet a special lady from Germany, and that happened in 2007. I was working on a small eco-tour vessel in the southeast, and lo and behold, there was this German lady. And yes, that same feeling was there. And well, that was it. Okay. So yes, at that particular time, I knew for the first time I was 67 years old. I knew that energy could be passed on from one human to another. Thank goodness, I was only 67 then. It happened. Things happen when they're supposed to. So I think what is happening is the harmonic convergence took 25 years approximately to run its course. And there was another convergence back in November of 2012, which I don't remember the name of it now. But that was the completion of that. But when the door was fully open, it was March 20th of 2013. We are living in that energy today, completely living in it. And my hat perfect?
There's a bunch of bells going off.
It's supposed to be.
Anyway, we're here. Those people that are underneath, that don't have not underneath 500 are going away. Are going away. So when we read in the newspapers, many of us that read newspapers, I don't, or watch the 6 o'clock news, they can't handle this new energy. They simply can't handle it. They're going to leave it.
That's okay.
And thank goodness. So that again is how important each and every one of you are. We're holding Jose Arguelles and his group of people back then started this harmonic convergence. We are still holding the space, and we're moving forward to make it for the youth that are coming along. And they'll take over from us. I guess, yes.
Can I ask how the author came up with the numbers? Where did the numbers come from?
Well, we did it through kinesiology, and it's either a yes or a no answer, and he just spent hours upon hours upon hours coming up with that scale. Decided that Jesus and Buddha and Krishna vibrated in the town and just worked down from that. Okay. Anyway, there's another question in here somewhere in this file of mess now. The author said that at that time there were 12 individuals vibrating over 600 in 1995. Okay, through our own kinesiology, there are now 36. So we each have a Jesus, a Buddha, and a Krishna here at the planet at the same time. And we have all the rest of us. So those 3 people are holding up 3 times the amount of people that are under the 200 level. The rest of us are just raising everything else up. And more and more and more. So even though this is such a small group of people for all of Anchorage, it's the most powerful group in Anchorage. And each and every one of you needs to give yourself a big gulp. Hey, I'm doing my part. And that's all we can do here.
I read that book when it came out, so I'm very much aware of what you're saying. What I'd like to add is that we have to do what we have to do. We don't really have a choice.
That's right.
I'm an African, as anybody here knows. I'm a very popular writer in Africa, and I'm the enemy of Africans. Everybody's talking about me. Because I see a very low energy level, energy of hatred, anger, and blaming. And what I do in my writings, in fact, I'm the most Africans with me. And is that I try to bring their energy level, the energy of love and Christ and forgiveness, and they want to talk about anger at this level. So, and I do it, my girlfriend up there keeps telling me, why do you say things that your people do not want to listen to? I said, well, this is what I'm here to do. Their anger at me is acceptable, but my function is to tell them that the Christ consciousness, coming up to love, people, forgiving, is really all that matters.
It's all that matters.
So I cannot not do it. That's what I'm trying to say. You're talking about near-death experience. I've had those. And many of the things you're talking about are part of my world. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for coming. Everybody give yourself a hug.
Let's give God a